One, two, four, five, six, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just counting all of my many, many mistakes. I guess we can just get into vocabulary then. So let's just start. I want to actually start us with a quick image here, and that is medium or series of images. Now, you're probably familiar with this as a term if you've worked in art of any kind, painting or sculpture or anything. That medium refers to like the different format, right? Oil painting is different than acrylic painting, which is different than ceramics, which is different than performance art or social practice art. I also want you to think of it in terms of reading and writing. We're going to do a lot of talk in this new unit about lifelong reading and what kind of mediums you prefer. Maybe you're an audiobook listener, maybe you like words on a page, maybe you really prefer graphic novels or manga or comic books. Maybe you are in a space where you mostly are a nonfiction reader of history, maybe you're a nonfiction reader of current stuff. Go ahead and write down our term, part of speech, and definition for medium now, a means of doing or communicating something. So audiobook is a different means of communicating the same content that is in a paper book, right? All right. So this next word that I want you to write out is literacy. And this one, I actually want you to copy down two different definitions. I want you to write down the ability to read or write, but I also want you to write down competence or knowledge in a specified area. Sometimes you might have heard the term illiterate before. That means somebody who doesn't know how to read or write. But literacy is not just about the written word. There are all types of literacy, right? Digital literacy, critical literacy, informational literacy, scientific literacy, financial literacy. You might have things like media literacy. You might know how to navigate online or how to find information, but you might not have fully developed that critical literacy to evaluate a source, right? The CRAP test was all about critical literacy. Whose voice is being centered in this? Whose voice is being left out? What's the intention or the purpose? What are they trying to do here? Are they trying to sell you something or make you laugh? Cultural literacy is a huge one. You know, probably, hopefully, if I were to hang out with you and your friends on some random day, it would probably be a little bit awkward because I'm not a member of your cultural group, your age group, and I don't have the cultural literacy to be able to like keep up in a conversation, right? You've probably maybe experienced an adult trying to do that. Literacy is not just about the written word. So when you write out that definition, keep the one that's about, reading and writing, but also write competence or knowledge in a specified area. I want you writing both. I want to read you a couple of quotes about literacy here too. So the first one comes from Morgan Freeman, and it is, literacy could be the ladder out of poverty. Now, this doesn't mean that it is always the ladder out of poverty, but there's a strong argument to be made that you refining your ability to read, to write, to play the game of school is a way to continue to open up opportunities for yourself. Let me give you another quote here. Literacy is the tool we use as humans to find one another, so it must belong to everyone. That's the power of story, right? The power of being able to recognize ourselves in other stories, the power to be able to recognize experiences that are really different from one another. Let me give you one more from classic Dr. Seuss. The more you read, the more things you'll know. The more you'll learn, the more places you'll go. All right, you have three more terms here, and I actually want to talk about them all together. Those terms are biography, autobiography, and memoir. So these are all real stories about real people's lives. There are distinctions between them, and later when we close out the year, you're going to have the opportunity to potentially read a biography or a memoir, depending. You could also read a fictional book as well, but I want you to understand the difference between these. So a biography is the life history of an individual that is written by someone else. In this image, We've got the Steve Jobs book. Steve Jobs did not write that book, right? An autobiography, auto meaning self, is a story of a person's life written by that person, detailing their entire life up to the present. So autobiographies are often a little bit more chronological, slightly less personal, and usually tends to focus on the entire life. They're both informational texts, they both are true stories. Memoir, also true, also informational, like an autobiography, is written about the person, about their own life, but instead of being this chronological order, it instead is centered around a theme or a collection of memories or experiences. Tara Westover's Educated is an example. David Chang's Eat a Peach is an example. It really focuses on emotional truths. It's more personal and intense and kind of has these interconnected ideas, but won't kind of holistically give you, here's the entire picture of my entire life. All right. The more you read, the more you'll know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go. See you in class.